Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring Dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And welcome to the program. Glad you could join us. It's my favorite racetrack, and I've never been there, and I likely never will be. Homestead, Florida. It's the Dixie Vodka 400. Woo-hoo. Joined by my three partners, Ed Kaluka of West Bend, Wisconsin. Morning, partner.
Morning.
Dan Margetta checking in from St. Francis, Wisconsin.
Good morning. It's so hard to watch this race at home on television because from 1999 to 2019, I was at every one of these, and it's a great place to watch a race, and it's a great place to have a race. They hit a home run when they redid this track.
And Brian Schmidt of Ootsburg, USA. Hi, Brian.
Yes, as we always said, as soon as this race was moved off of the final race of the year, we're going to be focusing more on the racing than the fight for the championship, and that is exactly what has happened now with this place. The racing is phenomenal.
You bet. Dan, as you mentioned, how many of the configurations were you there for? This is the third one, right?
Right, yeah, I've been through all of them. I mean, I first went there in 98 for the Busch race.
When did they start? I don't even
95.
remember.
95 was their first one that they had there. I was there when they were building the track. My brother lives near there, so we took a ride over and just checked it out because I knew they were building a racetrack. So we got to see the site before it actually all opened and got done. And then in 98, in February of 98, Matt Kenseth won a Busch race at Rockingham, and he was in the points fight. And I said, man, I want to see him win a championship. So we made plans to go to the Busch race in 1998. We were down there. Didn't get to see him win a championship that year. But then the next year they got their Cup date in 99. And if you went to the Busch race in 98, you got priority tickets for the Cup race. And we had tickets ever since, all the way through 2019 till they moved it off the last one of the season.
The first configuration was a mini Indy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was flat and almost
it had four distinct corners.
Right, and then they totally flattened it out, and then they went to the progressive banking, which really works great here. There's three grooves here. You can go everywhere you can go, and then I like the fact that the track eats up tires.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at wagnerautomotive.com.
The superstars of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Guess what? New player. Here comes Chase Elliott.
Converge on the southern tip of Florida for an epic battle.
They are side by side.
On the super fast Homestead Miami Speedway.
Checkered flag in the air. Denny Hamlin wins the Dixie Vodka 400.
It's the Dixie Vodka 400.
Coming up later today, our coverage starts at 1:30 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
And welcome back to the program. I love computers. All right, Ed, we were talking about the logistics of the race. Gas. I remember how Atlanta was always a great place as the pavement wore out. Such a great place to race because it threw that abrasive surface threw such an X factor into tire wear. And I remember, as I'm sure you guys do, Tony Stewart bitching about Goodyear and the terrible tires they brought, and yet for the fans, oh my God, these cars were out of control, and it's really getting to be that way at Homestead.
Yeah, that the situation on, like I was saying, was 60 miles per fuel, which that even wouldn't take it to the end of a segment, but the tires are 35 to 40, where you start screaming for tires, and caution screws. You have 7 sets of tires for the entire event. Ooh. So you could try and the plan is to try and have at least 1 set laying at the end, that you can use for a green-white checker with 4 or 5 laps to go, because it's going to be a must to have that. If someone uses up their stuff before that, they're going to be pretty much out of luck.
The segments are at lap 80, lap 160, and then the last segment will be 107 laps. So 80, 80, and 107 are the 3 segments. And there's 3 sets right there, Ed, with a couple of cautions. Oh, my God, you're not going to be able to put tires on if you're going to try and save one for the last 10, 15 laps.
Well, that's why it's tough. That's why the 5 car is in big trouble today, because he has a guy in the box that just doesn't know how to call a pit, doesn't know how to call a race.
All right. We usually save this for the very end. This, to me, this is going to be a 5-8 race. The 5 car and the 8 car, to me. You got a chance to see what Reddick was like in a car that has traditionally not been one of your better cars yesterday, and he damn near won it, even though he was cheating. But, Kyle Larson is the guy today all day long, don't you think?
Well, he's coming from deep in the field, which is going to be interesting to see how he progresses. But to try and balance that out, if he being that deep in the field, like Dan picked a 21 car in his fantasy league today, is that you use up so much of your equipment trying to get to at least the mid pack of 20 plus, that now you've burned their stuff off, where you take guys like Denny Hamlin and all them cats up front. They don't have to run that hard, that they'll have better long-run tires than them guys that burn their stuff off trying to get there.
They have a competition caution today? I think they do.
Yeah, the competition caution. Oh, I don't know about that, Dan. They probably do.
And that
would break up the first segment.
That'll help you get to the front. It's a lot of strategy is going to happen today in the pits. I mean, with the tire fall off the way it is, especially at the end of the race, if we have a long green flag run towards the end, coming up to your final pit stop, or it could be your final pit stop. If you don't bring your guy in at the right time, you can end up really hurting their chances on the racetrack. And in the same token, if some guys out front, a lot of guys behind him can short pit them and pit early and kind of catch him out that. If you leave the guy out there too long on those old tires, or everybody else is getting new tires, you're going to screw yourself up. Denny Hamlin won this race last year. Almost waited too long as his crew chief brought him in at just the right time, but a lap later would have probably lost the race at Chase Elliott. So I think a lot happens on the box, and that's where I agree with Ed, where I'm not sure about the pit calls on Kyle Larson. Cliff Daniels is his crew chief, and if you look at analytics-wise, he lost the most positions on green flag runs last year over the course of the season, while Jimmy Johnson had quite a pretty good passing analytic. It kind of affected him that way, and I think Larson's going to have a great passing analytic. I just don't know if the crew chief...
That's a big part of the sport now.
I know.
Study that and can put it in play. The problem is, the nice part about this deal is that as far as chassis adjustments go, tires are so sensitive to tire pressure and chassis effect that changing for every stop makes it easier on a guy in a box, because he can dial in all 4 tires for an understeer oversteer condition. So, and normally this racetrack is tight in the beginning, and as the sun goes down, it gets looser as the night goes on. So it's hard to call the race, especially now. You get in the middle of a green flag pit stop segment, and then some back marker, Josh Bowicki, would have a yellow. Oh, it's a caution.
Just remember what St. Robbie once told us, 80% of the deal is what climbs in through the window. Now, keeping that in mind, isn't this fantastic? We have an abrasive racetrack. We have 3 distinct grooves. We can go 4 wide, even though there's 3 grooves. And they did it yesterday a couple of times, and without crashing, by the way. We have guys who are starting towards the front with good crew chiefs. We have guys starting in the back with not good crew chiefs, but, but will that actually matter at the end of the day? How are the cautions going to be spaced out? Who's going to save tires for the end? Oh, my God. This is great. This is what we live for. This is going to be one of the greatest races NASCAR's ever had. Okay. I'm over it now. I can take a breath. But, when you look at everything, this really, at such a spectacular racetrack, this is the day. And I'm still taking Larson, because 80%, you know the deal. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, but when Robbie said that, he knew that somebody on the box had a brain.
Maybe 80% of his car is what
when tracks chew up tires, it throws another variable into it, especially on the pit call. A lot comes to it, especially when the tires fall off that much. 2 seconds a lap early on is huge. If you save a set towards the end and we have a green-white checker, you can come from as far back as 25th and maybe win that thing.
Exactly.
And
that's what happened yesterday.
Yeah, speaking of yesterday, Myatt Snyder won his first ever Xfinity race. Before you hate David Starr, he blew a right front. He wasn't going to pull up right in front of a single focused, I'm along the wall and I don't give a damn who's in my way. What's his name? That 9 car?
Noah Gragson.
Noah Gragson. I don't really blame him, but he rear-ended a car that jumped up in front of him and really threw that race into a tizzy, and Myatt Snyder ends up winning. I was rooting for Reddick, who was driving the same car that Natalie drives, only it seems to have had a problem in the past couple of races, but not with Tyler Reddick in the car. Now, you might say the reason for that is they were cheating.
And Noah Gragson had a problem during the day of getting so upset with lap cars running his groove that he wasted so much time trying to get the guy to move out of his way, like bumping him, and the spotters tell him, Noah, you can't waste time behind these guys. Just
go around
them and move on. Yeah, that one point when he came up on a 44 car that was running the wall, and that he sat behind him. He blew an 8-second lead at that time, and the second place car drove right up on him again. And then he gets nervous, and he burned off more of his rubber. And later on in the race, he had an 8-second lead. And they're telling him, save fuel, slow down, you don't need to do this, pass cars when you catch them. And he flat drove sure, the car had if Noah wasn't driving off the hood ornament instead of looking down the road, he would have seen that guy is up there, okay? He wasn't up by the wall, but there wasn't a room for him to go by him even before he blew the tire. He had plenty of time to make that turn and go under him.
He is single-focused, Ed. You got to say that.
Well, and when you have a massive lead like that, like other people said, Noah needs to be smart enough to know that you can slow down. You have an 8-second lead, and if a car blows a tire, play the law of averages. If a car blows a tire, where is it going to go? It's going to go up to the wall. It's not going to shoot down to the bottom. So Noah, coming up on a lap car like that, me anyway, if I'm the driver or the spotter, I would say go to the bottom. You have an 8-second lead. It doesn't matter if you slow down a tenth or two. Go around them. There's only 4 laps to go when that happened. Just I don't know. And then Noah always wants to blame everybody else. He's not painting a really good picture for himself going forward here because he just seems to always have issue after issue after issue.
Let's try to remember that the Xfinity Series is doing its job with Noah Gragson. This is where he gets his head out of his behind. This is where he learns to get to the point where he can move up, and he is not at that point yet, as we can all plainly
will he
see.
ever get to that point? I don't know if he will.
I think he will. And Brian,
I think so.
Speaking about getting a head out of your butt, how about NASCAR on that one yellow?
Well, that too. I mean, as it turns out, Tyler Reddick wouldn't have won the race anyway. But on that first attempt at a green-white checkered, they take the green. Myatt spins his tires. Reddick gets ahead of him, and then lo and behold, I think it was Allmendinger got sideways there, and he just got sideways. Corrected the car. Great save. Corrected the car, and they throw a caution. Nobody else wrecked. What are they doing that for? That was an unbelievable save by Allmendinger to keep the race going, and boom, they throw a caution for no reason at all.
And Myatt Snyder ends up winning his first race, the ever popular We Will Return.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The superstars of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Guess what? New player. Here comes Chase Elliott.
Converge on the southern tip of Florida for an epic battle.
They are side by side.
On the super fast Homestead Miami Speedway.
Checkered flag in the air. Denny Hamlin wins the Dixie Vodka 400.
It's the Dixie Vodka 400.
Coming up later today, our coverage starts at 1:30 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
A reminder that if you should miss us live on the Big 920, the LTN podcast can be found on iHeart, iTunes, the Google Play Store, or wherever you download your podcasts, and you'll be able to listen to the program anytime you want. And we also have old programs on there that you want to catch up on some too. And you never know, you might find some interesting things on there. Today they race at Homestead Miami Speedway. Arguably the best racetrack NASCAR has. It's a shame they only go there once a year. I really think it should be a twice a year event. They had so many championship races at that that it's been really a great place over the years. And since NASCAR's pulling the strings here, they should really go there twice. But that's just my opinion. Wisconsin's one and only full-time NASCAR driver, Josh Bilicki. We thought we'd keep you up on his progress this season. Last week at the Daytona Road Course, he finished 36th. He was 2 laps down. However, it was a DNF. Dan, I guess he had a problem late in the race?
Very late in the race, like right towards the end, like almost as the race was ending. He had moved up. I think he was running in like the mid-20s somewhere, so he had moved up from where he was, but then he exploded a brake rotor, had a problem with the brake rotor. I think some of the pieces actually went in a grandstand. Nobody got hurt, nothing that way, but quite a big thing right in front. There was some video on Facebook of some Wisconsin fans that were down there that happened right in front of them. And so it right. I mean, it was right as the white flag was falling or the checkered flag was falling that it happened.
And keeping with that perfect 36, he will start 36th today of the 38 cars. So we're short 2 cars on the field today. Speaking of last week, by the way, how about Christopher Bell and the job he did to get that car to the front and passing a very difficult to pass Joey Logano to win his first race. You get that feeling, guys, this isn't the last time Christopher Bell is going to win.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, he's showing his talent right from the get-go and chasing him down. I mean, that was a 3-second gap that he chased Joey Logano down to pass. And yeah, I know Joey's brakes weren't the greatest, but Christopher, he showed that he's talented in all facets of racing.
No
he
kidding.
won here at Road America on the road course and looked really good doing it there. He's looked good in other road course races, and he doesn't have a road course background, so that's even more impressive. And he's another one that could be really good today because he's good at driving cars up against the wall also. But that's the first of a lot for him, and he's won in all facets of racing, and he's going to just keep winning, I think.
It's funny when people win their first race. I always kind of think back of watching them all come up through the ranks and stuff. And we had an opportunity to be at Christopher Bell's first time in an asphalt super late. It was at the Milwaukee Mile when Eric Jones didn't get here in time to test one of Kyle Busch's car, or practice on a Kyle Busch's car, and they put Bell in it, and we were all there, got to see it. It was kind of a big deal. Remember what was going on? It was 2013, so it was 8 years ago.
I remember Ed going over and explaining to Christopher Bell the difference in the 2 turns at Milwaukee, which when you're sitting in the stands, you really can't tell. But when you're on the racetrack, you can. And Bell didn't, that was his first time, not only in a stock car, but his first time in Milwaukee in any car. So that was pretty interesting.
I was telling that turn 1 and 2 is so much different than 3 and 4, because in turn 1 and 2 is a double apex, and if you carry the wall longer and keep your roll speed up, you can eliminate part of that double apex in the middle. And he said, "That's what that is. Thank you."
That's pretty cool. Hey, think about how unusual the start of this season was. We've had 2 first-time winners in the first 2 races in McDowell and Bell, and in the event, like say for instance, Briscoe or Reddick could win today, it will be the first time in 70 years that first-time winners won 3 straight, and probably the first time since NASCAR began, since you had the 3 first-time winners in the first 3 races. It's absolutely amazing. And don't tell me that Reddick doesn't have a shot to win today. I don't believe you if you try to tell me that, you guys.
And the other interesting part of that is that 16 drivers make the chase. We always look at the end, how many will make it by points? 4, 5, how many? And we're already eliminating 2 spots that would normally be taken by a veteran driver.
Right. Imagine that. The season's been, they said it was going to be, the commercials say it's going to be the greatest NASCAR season ever. Well, you start out this way and they just might be right, interestingly enough. Hey, Brian, this IndyCar dude, of course, I never really knew who he was. Santino Ferrucci.
Yes, Santino.
He's going to be a regular now on the Xfinity Series, or what?
Well, I think he's running like a part-time schedule, like 15 or 18 races or something like that. But, the guy has never driven stock cars before. He's only done open-wheel Formula cars. And, he was, what's the word you want to use? A hell raiser or an eyebrow raiser or something when he was in the IndyCar Series.
That's what we like.
Yes, we do.
He's flashy. He's flashy, put it that way. But,
I'll give you an example. Give you an example of him yesterday on the radio. I'm listening to him when he's running. I want to see what this guy sound like. And they asked what the caution's coming up. What do you need? He said, "How about a tear-off and a glass of wine?"
That's beautiful. Well, that was his first time right in a NASCAR car that no practice, no qualifying. It's time to race. And
I think his only asphalt experience was a super late model or a late model test during the off season. So that was completely green going into turn 1 with no practice, nothing. And I thought he did okay. He was respectable.
And that's not top of the line equipment he's in there either. I think that's like, what was that, Sam Hunt Racing or something? Not the singer Sam Hunt, but a different Sam Hunt Racing or something like that. He's in, So give him some time, and we'll see what he does. I think the guy's he can wheel a vehicle. He can wheel a vehicle. Indy cars are some of the most difficult cars to drive, and I think he can get it done in a stock car eventually. It's just going to take some time.
And as I know, it's never really fair to assess someone's ability in a car when they are in a car that is questionable, which
subpar.
is subpar. There you go. And it seems though that if you're going to, this is a hard way to get your first laps and get your feel around NASCAR, to get in a car that that's a back marker, okay? And that's what he did yesterday. LTN returns. Hang in there.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience. Stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
The superstars of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Guess what? New player. Here comes Chase Elliott.
Converge on the southern tip of Florida for an epic battle.
They are side by side.
On the super fast Homestead Miami Speedway.
Checkered flag in the air. Denny Hamlin wins the Dixie Vodka 400.
It's the Dixie Vodka 400.
Coming up later today, our coverage starts at 1:30 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
That Texas rock and roll. Hey, Brian, there's a big job fair coming up at Road America that folks might be interested in.
Yes, there is. It's coming up this Wednesday, March 3rd, at the track from 1 to 6. There is just a potpourri of jobs you could do there. There's 18 different seasonal categories that they're looking to fill people for, everything from ticket workers at the gate to person picking up the trash to cutting grass. They got 3 full-time positions that are available. So if anybody's looking for something to do this summer, that'd be a great place to work. They're going to do online, on-site interviews. They also, if you're not comfortable with that, you can give them a call, and they can do a virtual interview for you too. But it's this coming Wednesday from 1 to 6. Great place to work. I know Dan and I have been going there so many years, and a lot of the people that once they get a job there, they like to keep it. I mean, we see the same faces year after year after year, so it must be a great place to work when you don't see much turnover.
I think I have a pretty busy year this year.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I would say so. You'll be around for all
every
that NASCAR
weekend
stuff.
there's something to do, so it's almost a full-time, part-time gig.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
Good way to put it. All right, the number to call if you'd like to participate in this program and talk about any of the things that we've been talking about or bring up something new, we don't care. 414-421-7901. Our first caller is Joe from South Milwaukee. Hi, Joe.
Hi, guys. Thanks for putting the show on today. Real quick question. Cindric, if I remember right, did the Daytona 500, but he hasn't been in any other race so far. So what has happened to Cindric?
He's running a part-time schedule in far as Cup. With the beginning of the year, you have to say what series you're going to be running in to gather points, and you can't change in mid-season. So he's already declared himself to the Xfinity Series full-time. So he's got a part-time Cup deal now, and in 2022 he'll be driving a 21 car to replace Guido.
Yeah, so right now he's just going to run a certain Cup events and a full Xfinity Series and a part-time Cup schedule. So he'll probably be back at a Super Speedway race. I got to look at what his schedule is.
He'll be around though. He's dabbling in a little bit.
I think it's road courses too. I think it's because I think he's got some road course events on his schedule.
Probably Elkhart Lake.
Oh, okay. So that's where he went anyway, and I hope that answers your question. 414-421, by the way, the number 421-7901. Boy, there's been some announcements when it comes to, we're finally coming through COVID. I'd like to think we are, and that the crowds are going to start returning to the racetracks. Darlington has announced that they're going to have a partial crowd there. They didn't really give hard numbers yet, which, kind of leaves it open. Who knows? Maybe they have enough tickets sold to cover the amount of people that are coming in. They didn't really say about that. The state of Virginia, which means Bristol or Richmond, they have announced
Martinsville
that,
or Richmond.
Not Bristol. That's the other side of the state line. Martinsville or Richmond. That they are going to have fans, and everybody's going woohoo, fans at Virginia races. What they didn't tell you in the small print is that it's 30% of capacity or 1,000 people, whichever is lower. Well, is that really a big deal? 1,000 fans? You'll never see them in that. I mean, what does that place seat, Brian? It's huge, isn't it?
Richmond? Yeah, Richmond's got to be upwards of 50,000, I would think.
And
Martinsville, I think that place holds like 41 or 42,000. So, I mean,
it's
that's
real
what they
easy,
said.
folks.
Yeah,
Red
I mean,
states,
it's only
blue states. Red states, blue states.
And it's only February right now. Those races are in April, so things are moving pretty quickly now on that front. Things changing, by the day almost, as you see, as far as vaccinations and stuff like that. So, that's what they said now, and I think these tracks are going to just say, hold on a minute here and let's see what happens. And when you get closer to it, it sucks for people that are planning long trips there. I know someone that I work with that wants to go to Richmond's spring race, and it's kind of in limbo. You don't know what's going to happen, but I think that's the way it's going to be here for the first part of the season, and we'll see what happens. But I would be surprised if they
change all that. You can change all that at the ballot box. So just remember the states you're in that don't allow you to go to races. You got the ballot box to fix it.
We're turning the corner. We're coming out of it. We're flattening the curve. We're wearing masks and being socially distant. Yeah.
Well, look at fans today. I mean, there's fans in the stands today at Homestead. Next week, I can be able to give you a firsthand of it because Vegas is letting fans in. It's sold out with a limited capacity. I have tickets in the grandstand, so I can tell you exactly what it's going to be like, how we go through next week. And then Phoenix has limited fans as well. And I think as we go forward, we'll see that number and limits start to rise.
Speaking of Las Vegas, which is next weekend's events, there is a truck race on Friday night, an Xfinity race Saturday afternoon, and the Cup race, of course, is next Sunday afternoon. Dan, I'm not going to be joining you this year in Vegas, but you're going to be there. And as we like to do when we're in Vegas, you're going to have a little get-together Friday night for anybody that might be around.
We'd like to do that if after the truck race. We normally do it at this Poor 24 place at New York. Now, I don't know what the restrictions are like there. Are we able to hang out
you got to wear a mask.
Yeah, okay. I mean, if we were able to do it, that's where we're planning at least starting to meet. Would be after the truck race. It's called Poor 24 at New York. It's always been a tradition.
At the top of the escalator.
Right.
Easy to find if you're in that casino. So, Dan, you let us know how next week's event goes in the COVID era.
Top of the escalator. Huh? I could be going into the parking lot.
There are two escalators, by the way. Remember?
There is.
As a matter of fact, not only are you right about that.
I know.
One time, Matt Kent sends me a text and says, "I thought you said it was the top of the escalator. I'm standing here. Where are you?" I didn't realize there were two escalators. Yeah, it's the one that's by the overpass.
Over the walkway. The walkway towards MGM.
Yeah.
The front door, not the back door.
There you go. Yeah. Be smart. You'll find it. It's not that hard. And boy, my God, it's coming up quick. Dan, you're going next week to Las Vegas. Plus, you're going to go back to back and be here in Phoenix the next week.
Yeah, looking at doing the double, flying out to hit Vegas, driving to Phoenix, taking a couple of spring training games, and then the Phoenix race, and come on back. And hopefully by then it'll be warmed up here and we'll be ready to go.
Speaking of seating, spring training games are pretty close to being sold out already, and they've announced 25% capacity. You're coming at a good time, Dan, and I know you already have your tickets, but it's what a weird year we're having, isn't it? I mean, we're not even 12 months into this thing yet, and look how everything has been turned upside down. How long will it be before we can get back to normal. Come on. We'll be right back.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
It's a red, white, and blue weekend of family fun as Road America hosts the NASCAR Cup Series July 1st through the 4th in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. 4 huge days of stock cars featuring the NASCAR Cup, Henry 180 Xfinity, and Trans Am Series. Camp on site and catch every lap. Enjoy fan activities including autograph sessions and free family fun zone. And free admission for youth 16 and under. Get your printed home tickets today before they sell out at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com. Come for the experience, stay for the race. Road America, your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The superstars of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Guess what? New player. Here comes Chase Elliott.
Converge on the southern tip of Florida for an epic battle.
They are side by side.
On the super fast Homestead Miami Speedway.
Checkered flag in the air. Denny Hamlin wins the Dixie Vodka 400.
It's the Dixie Vodka 400.
Coming up later today, our coverage starts at 1:30 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
Well, Fantasy League keeps getting to be a big deal, and I guess we have our own team, right, Dan?
Yeah, we have our own league. It's part of the NASCAR.com fantasy section. If you join a league, it's the LTN league. There's like 40-some people in it already. I'm part of it. Brian's part of it. Ed's part of it. Brian's leading right now. I think he's 4th overall. I'm 6th. Ed's back in 20th. But it's neat. You pick, 5 guys, and then you have a guy in your garage, which you can interchange before the end of the second stage. If one of your 5 starters is having a bad day, you can take the guy in the garage and replace him as long as they do it before the end of the second stage. You have to make other picks of what kind of manufacturer is going to win, what's the top team, those things like that. You get points for each of those, and see you at the end of the year.
So who you got, Dan?
This week, I have Denny Hamlin. I think Denny Hamlin's a pretty good favorite up front. Kyle Larson, I'm not sure he's going to win, but he'll be up front, I think. Tyler Reddick, I think will be up front coming from the back. Martin Truex Jr., who always runs good at Homestead. And I have Matt DiBenedetto. That's the one that is giving me a hard time about. But I think old Guido's going to surprise you today. I think he's going to have a good run. I got Eric Jones in my garage.
Got to remember about them tires. You know, I have the 11, the 4, the 22, the 2, the 12, and the 5 in the garage. But I don't know about DiBenedetto. What do you got, Brian?
I have the 18, the 5, the 22, the 4, the 11, and then I got Tyler Reddick in the garage. I originally had Brad in there, but you guys talked me out of it, Dan. So if the 11 car is in the fence, I can blame that one on Dan.
As far as that guy in the garage, you could take him out of the garage if one of your other cars has a problem anytime before the end of the second segment.
Yep, and an example of that, last week I used that to perfection. I had Kurt Busch in the garage and Kyle Busch as a starter. Saw Kyle Busch have all sorts of problems. I swapped them out. The minute I swapped them out, Kurt Busch went flying through the grass, and I thought my day was, messed up, and they rebounded each other and flip-flop back to where it all worked out. So got to go with your instincts.
All right, it's 10:45, and we go to the dirt on the dirt. Brian, I guess after Speed Week, things slowed down just a little bit, huh?
Yes, they did considerably. We're in a little bit of a break here. The weather hasn't been the greatest around. There were a couple events, though, that took place this week. out in Queen Creek, Arizona. Todd, your neck of the woods, the Arizona Speedway. They ran some super late models out there last night. Don Shaw from Ham Lake, Minnesota, who lives out there now part-time, he picked up the late model feature win. IMSA stock car feature went to Aaron Spangler. Abbottstown, Pennsylvania, the Lincoln Speedway. They actually raced yesterday. Now, I think just a couple weeks ago, Pennsylvania was getting hit with feet and feet and feet of snow, but there was still snow on the ground around. I watched this feature. There was snow all around the racetrack. The racetrack was good. They ran 410 sprint cars. The place was absolutely packed. Tim Wagaman picked up the win. That's not a name you normally know, but there were some heavy hitters there from the Pennsylvania posse that raced with the sprint cars. Tim Wagaman won the Icebreaker 30. And finally, last night in Modoc, South Carolina, the Dryden Extreme Dirt Car Series. That is a 5-race mini-series that they ran over the winter months. 7,000 win feature went to Brandon Overton, the 2020-2021 Extreme Dirt Car Champion. A 5-race mini-series. It paid $15,000 to win that championship. Chris Madden picked up the win there in that race. A couple other news and notes from around here. We have some good news finally on track racing front. Angel Park Speedway in Sun Prairie, which originally had a promoter, and then they didn't have a promoter. They do have a promoter again now. Greg and Angie McCarns are going to be promoting that track for the 2021 season. They have a couple big events on the schedule. The All-Star Circuit of Champions Sprints will be there on Sunday, June 6th, and the USAC NOS Energy Drink National Midgets will be there Labor Day weekend on Sunday night, September 5th. The rest of the schedule is still being laid out. There was talk the IRA would be there this year, possibly the Dirt Kings, and a couple of those other series. So you have to stand by for that.
You know, Brian, you got to hand it to Greg McCarns. After his lousy year of dealing with the Republic of Dane, that he's going to take on a second Dane County racetrack now. That's absolutely amazing. Blows my mind.
Yep. I mean, kudos to him for doing it. And one other piece of news in the dirt world, Kyle Busch is going to be racing in the Bristol Dirt Nationals, which is going to be coming up in a couple weeks. That is going to be March 19th and 20th at the Bristol Motor Speedway. He's going to be in a dirt late model, a Longhorn chassis fielded by Double L Motorsports with his Jonathan Davenport. He will be his teammate for the week there.
Imagine that.
Yes, that's going to be interesting. That's a 50,000 to win feature event on the Saturday night. It's a 10,000 to win race on Sunday night too. Jonathan Davenport, who is a normal with the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, they have 2 events scheduled that week. So this means Jonathan Davenport is jumping off the Lucas Oil schedule. He's hoping that the 2 events get canceled because of weather in Indiana and Ohio. If they do, he'll still be in the running. If not, he's off the program there.
Has Kyle Busch ever run dirt before?
In fact, as I continue on here, he is the 2012 Prelude to the Dream winner. So he won in a dirt late model before in 2012.
And that Prelude to the Dream is the new Prelude to the Cup Race.
Right.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, Kyle Larson will also be there. He'll be driving that Rumley Racing number 6, the car that he won back in Speed Weeks with. He'll be in that car. So we'll see. There's like 75, I think, super late models entered in that race right now, and there could be more. So it's going to be a tough one to make, but we'll see how he does.
Will it be on the internet?
XR Promotions is the one that's doing it. Back in November, they did the big deal from Vegas with the IMSA Modified, so they are the promoter. They also have the rights to covering the race. So it's XR. It's a whole week. Starts on Monday. They got like 150 cars in like 10 different divisions there, so there's a lot of racing.
This will be a good test for that dirt surface, won't it?
Correct, and they did test late models on there this week. Jonathan Davenport, Scott Bloomquist, and Kyle Strickler were there. There was some snippets of it on the internet if you want to check it out. They were turning 15-second laps, I believe, with the dirt late models there. Jonathan Davenport says the track was a little wet, so the speeds were way up. He's hoping it'll slow down. If you have that many cars on there, it definitely will. But he said the surface was nice and hard. He said there's at least 6 feet of dirt on the inside of the track. So where the original wall is, the dirt is up to that height. They put Jersey berries above it. So he's thinking right around 19 degrees of banking at its top point after testing.
Ryan, do we know XR Promotions? Is that how you would find it if we wanted to watch it?
XR Racing, like Google XR Racing. I think it's xr.com or xr.net. Yeah. It's a month. You buy it for a month. You buy it by the month. I think it's like $25 for the month or something. So
okay, all right, not really all that bad. As far as asphalt results, not a heck of a lot out there. We can tell you that there was a 10,000 to win race at Showtime Speedway in Clearwater, Florida, that the famous George Gorham won. I wouldn't think that would be all that significant, except he beat Stephen Nassy, Dan. That says something right there, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Nassy's real good at that track as well, too. I've seen George Gorham around Florida. It's that black number 03 car. he's had some success here and there. I don't know if he's a well-known name like Stephen Ganassi, but did the job last night. He held up. Ganassi made some attempts at him and just couldn't get around him. Steve Dorr was there as well.
The ARCA Menard Series East ran at Pensacola. The bad news was that they had 13 cars that started for 200 laps, but it really wasn't 13 cars, was it, Brian?
No, two cars pulled off right away. Wade Peterson was there and one other one, so there was really only 11 that ran the whole race. It was actually a fairly good race.
All right. And Sammy Smith was your winner of Iowa. We'll be right back.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company in the heart of Wisconsin is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as fieldstone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
The superstars of the NASCAR Cup Series.
Guess what? New player. Here comes Chase Elliott.
Converge on the southern tip of Florida for an epic battle.
They are side by side.
On the super fast Homestead Miami Speedway.
Checkered flag in the air. Denny Hamlin wins the Dixie Vodka 400.
It's the Dixie Vodka 400.
Coming up later today, our coverage starts at 1:30 on Milwaukee's home for NASCAR, the Big 920 and Big920.com.
We got some news from the Kawicki program. We knew that Wisconsin had 5 semifinalists of the 15 that were announced a year ago. Chad Butts, Riley Stengham, Jacob Nottestad, Luke Fenhaus, and R.J. Braun. They're still kind of in limbo from last year. Those were the semifinalists when they decided to pull the plug on the program last year due to the COVID concerns about having racetracks actually being open. So they added 10 more semifinalists this year. And another Wisconsinite was named. Nick Egan is added to the Kawicki program list. So there are 6 semifinalists, and they are going to pick out of 25 that are now from Wisconsin. Those 6, they will go through that 25 and announce only 7. Less than a third of those people are going to be named to the national list, and that's coming up within the next couple of weeks, I would think. In other news,
speaking of Nick Egan, Bonafide Security Solutions, they do have that Team Bonafide program.
Oh, that's right.
Today's the last day to enter, so you want to get your entry in if you want to do it. It's www.bonafidesafe.com/bonafide Bonafide Racing. So if you go online, find it, and get your entry in. Today's the last day to do it. They have a pretty good program where they sponsor some cars.
A couple other notes. The SRX program that's going to be shown on CBS Live at 6 locations, including the Slinger Speedway this summer. They announced this week that they will be running Ilmor engines in those Fury chassis, and they're going to be at 700 horse. Ed, what is a typical Slinger car, Ed?
Oh, about 650.
Oh, it is that much?
Yeah, for a Wagner engine. Casey told me you could build 600 horsepower in your sleep.
Oh.
So 700 horsepower, but it is with a 4-barrel carburetor, so it's cool.
Oh, okay. And one other thing, a young man from Alabama is going to hire Apex Racing, which is Casey Johnson and Travis Dasso's a group, to learn short track racing. He's going to do it in the state of Wisconsin. Grant Thompson, this young man's name is, and we will be able to see him on the short tracks of Wisconsin this summer. So interesting. All right, a couple other notes to hit while we still have a little time. Tuesday, there's going to be a tire test, a Goodyear test at that road course in Austin, Texas. They didn't say who's going to be in it yet. That's the Circuit of the Americas, where they're going to have a cup race this summer. But that test will be this Tuesday, March 2nd. The Bristol Cup Race, they've announced they're going to have 4 15-lap qualifying heats for that. Did you guys see that? How cool is that?
That'll be fun. I think that whole weekend's going to be a fun weekend.
Yeah, I would say. Kyle Petty just definitely pissed off the Gibbs drivers this week when he was talking about Ty Gibbs and about the pipeline to the top of Toyota Racing and how narrow it is. And he said those guys at Gibbs Racing better be looking over their shoulders, those older guys. Well, you got Denny Hamlin, who's 40 now, who's, by the way, leading the points as a 3-time Daytona winner and was clearly mad at Kyle Petty when he brought it up. Dan, I think there is a plan here for the pipeline, right?
Well, I think that 23 car is going to expand as we go forward. They have room to put 3 more cars there. When they built their shop, their plans had a bays for 3 other cars. So eventually, if there's enough drivers coming through and need places to put them, I think that's a good place for Toyota to park them, is on that 2311 team.
And let this show not go past without bringing up Chip Ganassi, who last week was fined $30,000 and kicked out for a race. He can only go in a suite. He can't go in the pits. And what exactly did he do, and how was it reported by one certain Denny Hamlin on Twitter, Dan?
Well, they said he had an unauthorized person in the footprint and violated COVID protocols. And when they announced it, Denny Hamlin said, all we're really concerned is who was that guest you had there, Chip, and what's going to happen with your guest? Are we going to see that guest again? That's what we're all really hoping for. So I'm not sure who it was.
Did he actually say that guest, or did he say her?
The guest. He said the guest.
Oh, he did. All right.
It was a female.
Widely assumed that it was a female. But it was probably a marketing person or something, right? There's a lot of those people around.
One other thing I want to mention is Casey Wagner. Mentioned him is that he's still looking for help up at Wagner Motorsports. You're looking for a job with good pay and a little bit of talent. You go up there, they'll train you. Casey Wagner is looking for some help up there.
All right. We've come to that portion of the program where we give picks that we're traditionally pretty poor at every week. I'm not sure we get it right. But listen, this is, for me, such a slam dunk for Kyle Larson today that it's easy for me to make that pick. All right, Ed, you're next on the list. Who you take?
I'm going to take one of them old guys, Kevin Harvick.
Okay. Dano?
I'll leave Denny Hamlin to Brian Schmidt. I'm going to go way out on that limb and take the 21. Go Matt DiBenedetto.
God.
Yeah. Dan, listen, before we laugh at Dan, he wins when he gambles. And Brian?
I'm not going to take Denny Hamlin. That's too easy for Kyle Busch. I always pick him, and he always wrecks. So, I don't know. Maybe this time he will. But if he does it, do it before the end of the second stage so I can swap him out.
Speaking of Kyle Busch, quickly, he's going to be at Road America in the Xfinity race, right?
Right.
Correct.
Ty Gibbs will run that race, too. It'll probably be another car number 81 for Ty Gibbs, and Busch will be in the 54.
All right. Well, let's keep that in mind. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hang on the internet for the Hangover Show. For all of us, we appreciate you tuning in, and we all want you to remember that real race cars have doors, even if they do climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta. Our in-house engineer, website coordinator, and king of the knobs is Matt Hangover Losi. For all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you listening, and We'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.